a lot of things in the dojo, but what does balance mean to you?
Yeah.
Balance.
Well, typical thing is when you think of balance, you think of physical balance, which is wonderful. But I think about more life. I was lucky enough to go through a training seminar years ago called PSI, which is People Synergistically Involved. And in this seminar, I was introduced to a series of lessons. And one of them was the idea of peace of mind or having balance. So that you gotta have to, kind of imagine doing this with me. So imagine from 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest and 10 being perfect. What is the lowest physical shape you ever been, and 10 being the best? Rate yourself from 1 to 10. So you might rate yourself, 4, right? Then I go, okay.
I won't take that personally.
No, but you know what I mean?
Just kidding.
And we talk about what a typical man would say. And then this is this side. Then mental. Mental will be, so physical means how you take care of your body. Mental will be how you take care of your mind. You mentally, where you're at from 1 to 10, you might be, 8 or 7 or 6 or whatever. So this is this side of the square, this side of the square. The bottom is emotional. So what's your relationship with your loved ones based on their feedback, not yours? Right? So you rate yourself. Then on top is spiritual. 1 to 10, how spiritual are you? So the idea was to make a square of 1 by 1 by 1 by 1.
Okay.
Most people are 1 by 3 by 6 by 2. So never a complete square.
Right.
So the idea was to make sure these 4 sides are together, and when you have that, you have peace of mind. Now you got to watch for some of this stuff, because when you're mentally, so the emotional is at the bottom, spiritual, right? If you're emotionally messed up, it will show physically.
Right.
If you're spiritually messed up, it will show itself mentally. Right? So you got to watch, you know what I mean?
Whoa.
So, and I don't mean necessarily religion, none of that, but believing in the creator and the energy and what your relationship is to the source.
Right.
Whatever, to the alignment, So it's really important to have these 4, a 1 by 1 by 1 by 1, or a 5 by 5 by 5 by 5, or a 10 by 10 by 10.
Right.
It doesn't matter. But when you have one of them out of line, you don't have balance.
Yeah.
And balance has a lot to do with peace of mind.
Yeah.
Joy.
Right.
And feeling like this is what I want to do right now.
Right.
Right, to have that. And that usually comes from having the balance between these 4 sides. Again, physical, mental, emotional, which is the base of everything, and spiritual. And a lot of people live with no roof under their house.
Yeah.
There's no spirituality.
I'm doing this,
Yeah.
and I'm sure everybody else too right now is trying to draw their squares, and it's such a wonderful thing, because if they're not balanced, then something's going to fall. So it's showing you if this is off, then this one will also be off.
Right, and it's a house.
Yeah.
The foundation of the house is your emotional.
Yeah.
We're not human doings, we're human beings.
Right.
We're born dependent. Everything depends on somebody else. Then we become independent. Like, oh no, I don't need anybody, whatever. And we stay that way for too long. But there is a maturity level of being interdependence where I get there with your help.
Right.
You get to where you want to go with my help.
Right.
And that's, all that comes together on an emotional level. Then the physical, which is, you have all the greatest things in the world, but physically you're messed up, you're sick. Like, I just had a surgery when I removed my gallbladder. I never forget, in the surgery room, there was a little sign. It says, outside this room, an average person has between 10 to 20 wishes. Inside here, 1.
Yep.
Right?
So true.
When you're sick, when something is wrong, you don't think about anything else. So we forget that.
Yep.
Right? Then mental, how much are we feeding ourselves mentally? Emotionally with our loved ones, spiritually with the source, meditation or nature or animals, they all teach us about, spiritual. So when you ask about balance, to me, that's my goal is to have a 1 by 1 by 1 by 1. I'm not there yet because I keep messing up. But imagine weekly drawing a square.
Yeah.
Right? And where am I this week in this square? And you just grow with that all four level. So that, to me, that's what balance is.
That's amazing. And related to that, I always say, I've said it out loud so many times, I do my best thinking while I'm exercising. I get my best ideas while I'm walking or exercising, hitting a heavy bag. Sort of the same thing though, like the two are in balance. You think well, while I'm hitting a bag, I shouldn't be coming up with ideas for something else, but something is activating mind and body.
Absolutely.
A little bit, sort of.
And when you do stuff, you feel it. When you do it, it just feels good. Like, I think by creating more joy in your life, because for you as a father, when you see your daughter asleep, you get up in the morning, you have a cup of coffee, you watch her sleep. That's pure joy.
Right.
That's when you get goosebumps. Mm-hmm. Right? So goosebumps are God's way of saying, enjoy this.
Yeah.
This is for you, not for everybody else. What Covey calls a private victory versus a public victory. My job, if I want to have more balance in my life, I need more private victories, not public ones. In my own martial arts training, I went a little bit backwards. I started with the public ones first, and none of the public ones people forget.
Right.
But more important is your private victories, the relationships that you have in your circle of, influence, rather than circle of concern about everybody else and their mother. To think about, my son, my students, my staff, people that are right by me rather than the world.
Right. So let's do it. Let's end it with this. What's the square again? Bottom?
Emotional.
Okay.
The two walls are physical and mental.
Okay.
And the roof is spiritual.
All right. Everyone's got to check their squares.
Yeah.
Weekly.